So hello and welcome to this IF Soccer Hub. This webinar is presented to you by Soccer Hub and the Alliance of the European Football Coaches Association. My name is Ricardo Almeida. I'm the CEO of Soccer Hub. Soccer Hub is an online education platform for football and soccer coaches. You can find there very interesting content from some of the world's best specialists. So don't forget to visit us. Today we are having here Ron Schneider. He holds an MBA in international business with extensive senior management positions in places such as the USA, Europe, and Israel. He is also a lecturer, conducting and managing lectures, clinics, and seminars around the world. He was the head coach of senior nationals women's football team during a period of 7.5 years with 53 international caps. He is the highest level UEFA Pro licensed football coaching credential. He's also a board member of the Alliance of the European Football Coaches Association, IFCA, and he's also the former CEO of the Israeli Football Coaches Association. So thanks, Ronnie, for being with us in this live interview. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
It's our pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, perfect. So before we start, don't forget that this is a live interview. So you can ask questions to Ronnie. Just write the questions on the chat box and I will introduce them to Ronnie, okay? Ron, I would like to start asking you if you could explain a little bit better the purpose of the existence of IFCA and what is the main job of this association. Can you explain us a little better, Ron?
Yes, IFCA is the alliances for football coaches around UEFA. We have 55 nations members of UEFA, and we have 49 out of the 55 members at EFCA. We usually try and take care of, we are there for the coaches. We support the coaches in coaching enhancements and legal advices and contract advisors, and also networking, because we know that life is different in any part of the continent, and some people have the ability to reach by far much more than the others. So the FCA comes in to really support these coaches no matter where they are from. And what we do in that respect, we have a yearly convention that we hold it in each and every year in a different country, where we bring in about 350 coaches from around UEFA to really enhance them with knowledge, with experiences of other coaches, share with them knowledge. And I think the key to our success is sharing knowledge.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Of course, you also have that event, the Legal Symposium, where we've met in Lisbon. It was a very interesting and nice event. Now, one question, getting into coaching. I would like to ask...
Before that, Ricardo, I must say, give a lot of good words and applause to the people in Portugal, especially our friend Sergio, who ran the convention. And it's very, very crucial. We found out that the legal aspects of different coaches going into different countries is so important for them to really make their job better and perhaps keep their lives better. And I think that was the biggest success of the second legal symposium. And we're looking forward for the next one.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Getting into coaching, I would like to ask you, Ron, what are the main challenges that football coaches are facing now in Israel? And if these challenges, are they different from the ones that coaches faces all over Europe?
Well, this is a $1 million question, but if I may really pinpoint, coaches, number one, if you want to be a coach, you have to love coaching, you have to love the game, and you have to love to deal with challenges. And I always follow the guidelines of Mr. Howard Wilkerson and his speech. And when I teach in classes, and I teach UFA and UFB courses for the last 20 years, I always bring it up because it says very clearly, if you really want to be a football coach, you have to devote yourself. You have to know how to listen to people and how to make sure you can change their mind and bring your own things into the field. Also, you can have to deal with issues. And he says, and I quote unquote, it says, if you think it's a problem, it's not a problem. It's for you, it's a challenge, and you deal with it 24/7. So the other side of it is being a coach is seeing the whole system in front of you, the players, the crowd, the media, the people who owns the club, and the results and the targets and the players day in and day out. And you really have to know how to manage these things. And in order to do that, you always have to gain more knowledge. So it's a continuous working hard in getting the knowledge and continuous working hard sharing the knowledge.
Okay, perfect. So in your opinion, what are the most important competences that the modern coach should master nowadays? Are they different from the ones in the past? Do you feel that the coach now faces different challenges from those that they faced in the past?
Definitely so. And I would like to count a few. You know, in the past, a lot of the coaches worked with what they call it gut hunch feeling. If what they knew as a player and they try to bring it to the field as a coach, it's not working anymore. You have to know how to work with coaches around you. You have to know how to give your assistant coaches assignments and let them work with you, be your partners, not just put the cornices on the field, but really be your partners. Number three, you have to learn how to deal with management. Number four, you have to deal with management of change. You come to a place, and if you're a good coach in Portugal and you want to be a good coach in England, you really adapt yourself into the system a lot faster. So you need to deal with the media, you need to deal with the owners of the clubs, the different cultures of the players. So you really have to modify yourself first in order to do what you need to do and accommodate you to what the needs of the club, and then start working on the field. Another thing that is a big change, technology nowadays, and as you probably know, and you didn't mention it, I worked in parallel 29 years in high tech. I find technology today being so bombastic that coaches need to know what do they really want from technology, how they can use technology to their advantages to become better coaches. They have loads of information and they probably don't know how to use all of it. They have to really identify what are the basics, what are the main targets that they have, and get the technology to support them, to know how players move. And we all talk about when we have the ball, when they have the ball, and in transitions. So it's a lot into that. Hello? 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 Ricardo?
Okay, Ron, we're back. Something happened, I'm not sure what, but I don't know where you stayed at, but we were talking about the new challenges that coaches faces nowadays, and if they are different from the ones that they were facing in the past.
Yes, so if I may repeat, you know, in a shorter message, one of the biggest things that is changing is technology that supports the coaches. Yeah. Being a high-tech, former high-tech guy for so long, I know that there is a lot of information floating around, and coaches need to know what to take, what to bring in, how to use technology much better to their own benefits, how to support their practice planning and practice periodization, and really work on a system with a lot more information. What also they need to know is how to deal with media and how to deal with parents. Depends on what age groups we're talking about. So we have partners from all over. We have the media, we have the owners of the club, we have the targets of the club, and on the youth level, we also have the parents around it. So we really need to know how to be a partner and how to make people on your side.
Okay, do you feel that coaches now, they are looking more for education Do you feel, or do they feel that to be ahead, they need constant education? Do you feel that? Do you feel that the coaches are more eager to have information and knowledge than in the past, Ron?
Yes, I think that coaches have arrived to the conclusion that if they know what they don't know, they go out and get it. So they really need to go and get some more education and further education. It varies from country to country. It varies from one culture to another. I know that most people would like to hear others. At the end of the day, they would go home and say, this is good for me, this is not good for me, this I will accept, this I won't. But definitely people understand that what they've studied in the past is not good today. They need to update themselves day in and day out and every year.
Okay, about the future of coaching, Ron, do you feel that this activity will evolve fast in the next years, or do you believe that we cannot go any further in what considers to football coaching?
I believe it will evolve. I believe that people would really learn a lot more than just the tactics and the techniques of the game. They would like to learn about the nutrition. They would like to get to learn about the mental part a little bit more. So they'll be a lot more educated and can deal with the younger generation that comes up. It's not just telling them what to do, it's really leading them to do what the targets are and what your targets as a coach and what your targets as a club. So it's a lot more into that. Yes, I believe it will evolve, and I believe that coaching education is the key to the success of those who look at it as a process. If you're really there just to look for results, then it's going to be a short period. If you look for a process and results, then you're there for a long term.
Okay, perfect. Now that we talked about coaches, let's go to the players. I'm aware that you are very experienced in football, in youth football. So I'd like to ask you if you feel that during time, the player become more or less difficult to coach. I mean, do you feel that there are many differences between the young players now and in the past?
Yes, I feel that the younger players of nowadays, and I also have a lot of experience coaching women in the US and in Israel. Yes, they have more in their plate to deal with on a day in and day out than we had when we were younger. When we were younger, we had football, practice, team, and more football. Nowadays, they have all the gadgets in the world and all the new shopping malls and the cafes and the bars and the cellular phone that gives them instantaneously information about anything in the world. So you need to be more challenging. So I look at it this way. The younger generation, they look for a coach who knows how to lead them, to love the game, to learn the game, and to be successful. And despite all the other attractive means that they have in their life, the coach has to be better in order to keep their players alive and going through the system. So it's a win-win situation if your coach knows what he wants to achieve and how he can lead the youngsters to really come to practice, enjoy the practice, enjoy the team spirit, and enjoy the results at the end of the day.
You know, one of the big discussions here in Portugal, it's about the time that the players have to practice. Most of the coaches believe that they don't have enough time to practice, or the practice that they have, it's not enough. For instance, in other sports like swimming or other individual sports, you will have about, I would say, 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours of practice in one day. Do you feel that these players, the football players, have enough time to train? Do you feel that the time that they have to train is enough to develop the skills that we want to develop?
Well, we have to divide it to two periods. One is in the youth level, and secondly on the professional level. So if I go on the youth level, I don't think they have enough time to practice and become better. Therefore, the coach needs to be so good to prepare for them some work on their own. Like, you know, if you want to be a good mathematician or a good piano player, you got to practice by yourself. So you got to really lead them into those needs. When you're a professional and you go to professional clubs or national teams, you can schedule practices as you want. And the idea is to work effectively within the practice, not necessarily more hours, but a lot more in pressure, a lot more in intensity, and a lot more into a very effective practice. So if you practice in a professional level 5-6 times a week, and then you have the peak performance, which is the game, I think it would be good enough. For the youth level, I think they need more.
Okay, perfect. So now about the parents and the involvement of the parents in the whole process. Do you feel that the parents are becoming more a problem than a facilitator of the entire process? How should we deal with these challenges with the parents, Ron?
Good. That's a very, very good point, and I'd like to divert it to two. One, in areas that I've been through, until the age of 15, the parents pay full price on a monthly basis or a yearly basis to the club. So the parent is your partner. And if the parent is your partner, you got to know how to deal with your partners and convince them that you're the professional, and the professional way is what I have as my challenges, and you have to share it with them. You don't have to agree with them. Parents these days are very, very active and are very much intervening in the game and really a problem. But if you know how to deal with them up front, this way you put them aside on your side and they are willing to go with you. When they reach 15 and some of the players become the proprietary of the academy, like in many countries in Europe, then the parents do not pay and the club pays for the kid. This way, the parents do not intervene. They might ask questions, but there won't be an intervenience to disturb the coaches. So I would cut it into two ways. Parents are partners if you know how to put them on that side. They can be a big problem if they don't.
Now, about the football in Israel, do you think that we might have the next Cristiano Ronaldo in Israel, or do you think that is not possible in the next few years?
Well, you picked up a top-notch player, or I think we don't see somebody like him in many, many years. You know, Ricardo, I never told you, but I was one of the lucky ones who got lucky to play against Pelé when I was living in New York. So I know how it is to play against a superstar. No, I don't think in Israel they will have Ronaldo. I think in Israel they have tremendous youth love for the game. They have lots of teams and a lot of players. The problem is when they reach 18, they have to go to the mandatory to the army and do 3 years of service in the army. So it's a bit more difficult to become a superstar and still be in the army. I was in the under-20 national team when I joined the army. The first 3 months, I didn't see the field at all. So when I came back, I had to do a lot of recovery in training to be back in shape. And it takes some time, but the love for the game is as much as in any place. The competition level of the youth is going higher. I think our bigger problem is that when we reach 18, when the kid goes to the army mandatory, boys and girls, you got to go to the army mandatory. It distracts your level of advancement on the field, but we are able to recover later on. But at the bottom line, we should have good teams, but I don't think we will see Ronaldo coming out of Israel.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, the military service over there, indeed. Ron, before we finish, I would like you to send a message both to the followers of Soccer Hub and also the members of IFCA that are looking at this webinar. Do you have any special message that you would like to deliver to both of them?
Yes, the message one to Soccer Hub, I think it's a tremendous opportunity to get knowledgeable people to share their knowledge. And I would be more than happy to share with you a lot more knowledge over the course of the next couple of years. And sharing knowledge for the people, for the coaches, for the players is something that is the key. It's an art. For EFCA, I think that we should be much more involved in many, many other countries in what they're doing to advance the coaches. But we are doing it with the limited budgets, with limited resources. We're doing our best, and I think we should keep that way. And the convention coming up this year is in Poland. We will have tremendous lecturers coming up, and knowledge is never-ending story.
Okay, Ron. One of the purpose of this partnership between Soccer Hub and IFK is exactly that, to try and get the different member associations together, producing content, producing things that might help the coaches evolve. So I'm counting with you. I'm counting with IFCO, of course. And if we don't meet before, I'm sure we'll meet in the next convention of IFK in Warsaw, I think. So thank you very much, Ron, for being with us. It was a nice conversation. I'm sure that I will invite you to some others. Thank you for your time, and thank you again for being with us.
Thanks for the opportunity, and I would be more than happy to do more. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers.